John of Yonge and Dundas Square, downtown Toronto. It is a gorgeous Tuesday morning in the city. Good morning, Toronto. This is Breakfast Television. My name is Sid Sixero. The Toronto Blue Jays played all weekend long, back on home turf, thank goodness. Their first games in Toronto in nearly 2 years. But how does being back in Toronto impact the mental state of this team? Here with more is mental performance coach Ayanna Sealey. Ayanna, good morning. Welcome to BT.
Good morning, Sid. Thanks so much for having me.
Let's get right to the point here. Big picture, they have been on the road so long. Again, this weekend was their first game back in that building since September 29th, 2019. What does that do to the psychology of the team, do you think?
Oh my gosh, what a lift, Sid. What a lift that must have been for this team. I mean, you could just feel the energy. You know, being at home, you've got all your fans, you've got everyone rooting for you. You see hordes of people come into the building dressed in the same color. They're all there. An amazingly psychological lift to your game, you know. One thing that we do know is that studies show that the greater, the home court size and atmosphere is the better the results of the game. So, you have a better chance at doing well as a home team if you've got a lot of support from your fans. So it's not so much playing at home per se, but it's more of the home court size or the home field size and atmosphere of the spectators.
Yeah, let's talk about that atmosphere because, and I don't know how widely reported this is, but when the Jays were in Dunedin over the last stretch or in Buffalo, there were technically home games, but there were a lot of fans of the visiting teams during those games, and
Yes.
you could audibly hear heckling going on of Blue Jays players while they were technically at home by fans of the Yankees or the Red Sox or whoever they were playing at the time. So even though you are technically home, you're still getting berated by fans to not have that on your shoulders when you get back to Toronto. What does that do to the psyche of the guys?
Well, I think it's going to benefit them greatly, and I think it was good preparation for them, to have to be able to figure out how to play and how to perform well while having heckling, booing, whistling. That can really offset a player if they're not mentally strong. But now that they've been through that, it's almost like going through a little bit of some tough knocks, and then you come home and now you have so much support. What a lift that must be for this team. They must be enjoying it so much.
Won 3 of 4 games over the weekend. Should have won it yesterday afternoon. They had a tough extra innings with the new guy, Brad Hand. Anyway, topic for another day. So this 10-game homestand, Ayanna, is continuing. Then they go on the road to Los Angeles, Seattle, Washington. How do you think that kind of road trip will affect the group compared to when it felt like they were on the road constantly for a year and a half?
Well, I think that, again, I think that they would be prepared for this, right? And now that they're getting sort of a reprieve, some are coming home, some are, you're figuring out where your familiar zone is. So now that you go back out on the road, you've gotten a sense of what that feels like, right? So, but it's remembering, this feels good right now, playing at home and having the support, but you're going to go back on the road where you are the visiting team. So you're really going to have to up your mental toughness, your mental acuity, so that you can deal with the rigors of traveling, of, potential time zone change, climate change, the differences in the fields, the structure, the venues change. So you're going to have to make that mental adjustment now that you're no longer in your comfort zone and, perform in the way that you did before when you were typically on the road in Dunedin.
Ayanna Sealey, mental performance coach, talking about the Jays finally coming home over the weekend. Ayanna, we appreciate the time. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, Sid, for having me.
Great stuff. Again, I can't express enough how special a moment that was to see them come back. And I can only imagine what that feeling was like to actually walk into Rogers Center for the first time in ages. And it was great to be there Friday. Honestly, it was a night I'll never forget. I've been to a couple Jays games that I haven't been able to forget because they were amazing. Friday was one of them, and it is amazing to see those guys back home. and I think they're going to win a lot of games as a result. They should have won yesterday. They're feeling good. Jays might have another run in them. Stay tuned on that front. All right, coming up in the 8 o'clock hour here on BT, is it good to be bad? Well, it is if you're the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad week starts today on BT. And Devo talked to the cast. It's a big one. It's star-studded. That's coming up in the 8 o'clock hour.